Hey, everybody. Welcome to Ink the Book Show. I'm Ryan O'Connor. This is the show where I work on my first graphic novel. Been in the making a long time. I inked the whole book on this channel. And I'm working on coloring the thing now. It's like 250 pages, about just shy of 250 pages. Let me turn down this music a tad. There we go. And pull the comments up so I can see those as they come through, hopefully. So I'm working on my graphic novel, Bonehead. Here's the page I most recently finished. This morning I started the next one. Let me get this to a place where I can see everything. Ah, crap. Yeah. Oh, yes. Well, that's lovely. Okay, now I can see everything. So I started a page this morning. I woke up at 4:45 this morning and started working on the next page, this one. And so this I did all this morning. Like I said, I inked the whole book previously, but all the colors I laid in. I just laid a general color in for each panel. And now I'm kind of like tackling the characters. This is probably going to be a quick stream. I'm thinking half an hour. If it ends up being longer, so be it. If it's only half an hour, that's what I'm aiming for. So anyway, in the meantime, let's see. I have my some old pages pulled up, so I can just select colors from them, so I keep the color consistent throughout the book. Oh God, what did I say that? Not that. So this is our antagonist, one of our antagonists, Denton Crux. Just gonna go through and do all of the buttons on him. I'll have to check this other guy, Neinerman. I'll have to see if his pants button is also this kind of gold color. It probably is. I'm a big advocate for gold pants buttons on my character. Oops. I'm still getting over a cough and a cold. It's on the brink of being gone, but it's still there. I think I had a really small hit. And I think I was up against the clock when I was coloring this guy's jacket. Yeah, so I woke up super early this morning. Well, I woke up at 4:45 and immediately started working on this morning. I had 3 hours before I was going to go to church. So I went to church this morning. I can see a lot of the blue background showing through. But I'll worry about that more later. Oh, So I didn't make this connection, but this music I'm playing, I have it labeled as Mexican, which is probably what it said on the place I downloaded it from. But I just remembered tomorrow is. I just remembered tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. So maybe I'll get some Mexican food and some cerveza. Muy bonito. Holt. Okay. What am I doing? Button. I'm pretty sure I do gold buttons on all these characters, but it's been a while since I've touched any of these characters, so I'll have to double check. Because I could just do everybody's buttons in one pass, but that might be wrong. Dang it. I keep selecting different colors and then. Let me take a look real quick. Nope. Yeah, gold button. His pants button, I can't even tell. I'm just gonna say gold. Let's see. One panel on this page that shows it. Yeah. All right. Pants. I know his shirt buttons are white. Oh, I missed one. So this is the thrilling part of the book where I color one object at a time, panel to panel, just laying in flat colors. But eventually, you got to lay in the flat colors, and then you can do all the fun stuff and make the page really, really pop. But, first thing first. I don't even have a button here, which is fine. I don't need. I'll allow it. Nah, should I put one in? I'll put one in. So on my ink layer, I'm just gonna take my pen, the pencil tool rather. I use the pencil tool when I need to ink. Like go back and touch up inks. Make it size 3. That'll work. Let's see. Let's see it from afar. Let's take a step back. All right, I buy it. I buy it. That's by the same. So originally, I inked this book a pencil. I have. Oh, I moved it. I have my comic book books that I used for. I mean, like the same thing. I just bought some. So I use these comic book art boards by Canson. I get them from Hobby Lobby or Amazon. There's what, 24 11 by 17 pages in that thing. I'll usually buy 2 at a time, but I'm not making a comic book right now. I mean, I'm not like drawing a new graphic novel in the meantime. I just needed them for some other project. But that's what I drew this whole book on. Stuff like this. And if you open it up, it's got these blue lines all over it. I did all my pages within this innermost one. And I would do like 2 panels, 2 panels, 2 panels. So it's basically a 6-panel grid for all my pages. I don't think if there's anything else I would say about it. Not right now, anyway. But I inked it all with ink and brush. I have a new brush that I bought, Laser Newton brush. That's what I inked the whole book with, and just like India ink. Most, yeah, I think the Speedball brand is also India ink that I was using. That's what I used for a majority of the book. I used this thicker India ink, Hobby Lobby brand India ink, for the first, I don't know, like 50 pages or so, and then the rest of the book was like the rest of the book I started buying Speedball, which was a bit thinner and a little more transparent. Like you could see the page through it a little bit and see all my strokes. But, you know, when you scan the page and bring up the, you know, do the adjustment, what do you call it? Let me check it. Image, adjustment, levels. When you adjust the levels, you know, the ink is just as good. You won't see through. It's just as much coverage as you need. Because I could get huge bottles of the Speedball stuff, and like I think I bought 2 big bottles of that, and I barely put a dent in the first bottle, finishing the rest of the book. So we're talking like 200 pages. And I was using it for other stuff too along the way. So it goes a long way. That's all I'm really saying. And I don't know how much other artists really dig that stuff, like anything over anything else, but I'm really not too precious about anything as long as it gets the job done. Some stuff, you know, I hear other artists talk about, and I try it out, and then my thing is I tend to just stick with what I know. And if what I know is what another artist told me they use, you know, that's just how I land on it. I'm not too fussy about materials personally. But yeah, so anyway, all that to say, I originally inked this book with real ink. So, but every once in a while I need to like digitally just add a detail or clean something up, or you know, erase details. Like there was somewhere in here where I had to erase some lines. Like I was continuing these lines. He's wearing this like ascot type thing underneath his crossbones bow tie. He wears this like little ascot thing. It's hard to tell on some of these panels because it's kind of goofy. So it's kind of a fussy. There's so much detail in his jacket. I really could have simplified him, I think, but I kind of wanted him to have this elaborate jacket. But wears this kind of ascot underneath his crossbones bow tie. And on this panel, like, this is not a good example of his get up at any point, but this page kind of represents it a little better. Like, there's an ascot kind of puffing out from under. I don't know. Anyway, this panel, I remember some of these lines were continuing up all the way, like behind the bone. Like, it would go here and then it would continue here, and like, I didn't need that, so I had to like go in and erase it. So sometimes I gotta edit the color, the line work digitally, because I messed little things up, or I forgot things in my inking. I was streaming this whole the inking of this whole book, so that's all archived on my YouTube channel. But the thing about streaming it is I do get I do tend to kind of like not think things through entirely all the time when I'm streaming, and I get kind of, because I'm talking too much. I'm kind of dividing my attention a little bit on doing a show and drawing. Now I'm trying to think of what I want to do next. I know. So this shirt continues out at his cuffs. I gotta color that. Don't. So, man, I had 3 breakfasts this morning, sort of. You know, I got up at 4:30ish, 4:45, and I was working on this for a while, and then I had a bowl of Raisin Bran. And I was just drinking tea like it's like I'm getting paid to or something. I had a pot of tea this morning, a whole kettle of tea, and I'm on my second now. And then after church this morning, they had coffee and donuts for people, so I had coffee and donuts and hung out with some people for a little bit. I don't have any cuff on this panel. And then I came home and my dad made me egg sausage and waffles. I'm making out like a bandit. So yeah, this is basically how I do I can go a little faster when I'm not streaming, because again, you know, I start gabbing and explaining stuff, and it can tend to slow me down, which is why I wanted to make this kind of quick, this stream today, because I'd like to get as much. I have company coming over, and like in the next hour or two. So I really want to get as far along in this page. There's less special effecty stuff that I need to do on this page, as the last one. As you can see, like, I really wanted to make actually I might go in and erase some of the shadow here like I did here. I'll do that later, but I noticed I did it on these hills and I didn't do it on this hill, so I might go back in and touch that. But you know, I did gradients on the shadow layer. I did multiple shadow layers. Where's those? There we go. You know, and I did highlights. I did what do you call it? This is on my shadow layers. I do those multiply at 39%. I don't know why 39. That's just what I landed on. But I did an extra layer with highlights, and let me see what that one is. Lighter color. I would have thought I would do soft light. Oh yeah, I've got a soft light and a lighter color because I doubled up on some part where it was kind of hiding in the highlight. So I had to kind of double up on it so it would show through. Anyway, but soft light is what this is, and that's at 100% opacity. Anyway, soft light blending mode. Look at all these blending modes. I don't even know what this is just the color. Why did I do this? There we go. Normal for this. Okay, back to blending mode affects the way the color sits on top of other colors. Like, which I did not get when I was even in art school. I did not understand Photoshop at all. And I still kind of don't. But I know how to use stuff as far as I've seen other people use it usually. Like masks and stuff, I don't know. It's a little over my head. I used to have to use masks all the time for school, and it would just confound me. But I don't know. Photoshop kind of it's a little over my head. I just want to draw, and so like blending modes really like confused me. I was like, why don't you just use the color you mean to use? But you know, sometimes it's like it's a matter of when you start dealing with shadows and light, it's really convenient because you can just, like, for my purposes, I usually have a kind of color that I like to use for shadow. Like, I can just use a purple, and then I just worry about that, like finding that purple on the color chart, on the color. Oh, it doesn't pull it up on the screen, but when I open it, the color picker, like I can just pick my specific purple that I use, or I can use the highlight color that I use, which is usually like a yellow, and I go to the blending mode, and I can tool around with like how much opacity or whatever, and that's usually all I worry about. I don't have to worry about making purple, like a dark green and a dark pink and a dark tan color for this guy's face. It's a bit more straightforward. So at least that's how it works in my head. I can just worry about one color and do shadow over the whole page. And if I'm going to do highlights, I'll do like a highlight pass over the whole page. And then I've got the blending mode applied to my shadow layer, and I've got a blending mode applied to my highlight layer. And yet, when I was a kid, when I was in my 20s at art school, I didn't understand that. Nobody ever like quite explained it to me right, or maybe they did. I'm just a thick simpleton, but that's very likely the case as well. But that's that for you. Oh, well, I forgot what I was doing. So that's your lesson for the day. If that's the sort of thing you were not knowing but could use to know. There is green coming through this guy's bone. Ah! I'm on the wrong way. Okay, just making sure I didn't draw like all kinds of stuff on the wrong layer. Okay. Oh yeah. There we go. We don't see that cuff. That's fine. I don't need the cuffs to be in every panel of every wrist. Because, you know, that's kind of the way cuffs are in real life. Sometimes they're showing, sometimes they're not. I won't get bent out of shape about that. I'm not too big a stickler on continuity all the time, as long as it's not too distracting and not, if it's not disruptive to the visuals, I can live. There's one page where I didn't change it, but I feel like it's a fairly irksome continuity error. Maybe it's not that troublesome, but I didn't want to turn something around, so I just chalked it up to some time passed and they turned it around. Because I just felt like if I turned the object around in one panel or the other, it would be too disruptive to the art. Like it wouldn't look well as well as it kind of happens to. I don't know. Oh, if you ever see this book in its finished form, forgive me for the one panel in the beginning scene, though you may not notice. Okay, I mean, I gotta finish a book for people to get outraged about continuity errors, don't I? Here's my inside mouth color. He needs that there. I think that might be the only panel I needed on. Ah! I didn't select it. I wasn't on the right layer. Here we go. It's got these three. There we go. Okay. Thought I tried to like clean that up earlier and it wasn't working. He had these three tiny dots on his upper lip. There's another couple dots I don't want. Okay, let's see if there's any more open mouths that need that color. Not that one, not that one. Not that one. Maybe. I like to do it to these like little tiny specks even. So I think Mother's Day is coming up. My girlfriend's a mother. I always buy my mother. Well, I'll buy her flowers, or usually more likely a plant. Just like that is to say, not flowers, but like just something she can transplant into her garden or something. I don't want to get my girlfriend flowers or plants because she has cats and they eat her flowers. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I got to come up with something. Let's see. I'm going to start coloring this Neiderman guy real quick. I'll do one of him. That way I've got the colors for the rest of the page. That doesn't look right. Oh, see, I didn't select it. Okay. So, yeah, my girlfriend's boy, Johnny, he got sick like right before Easter. I forget. I was over there for like 2 weeks. So I forget when exactly it happened. But most of the time we were all sick. He got sick, then he got me sick, then I got her sick, and then I think I was getting better. Then she had just started getting sick when I was getting over it. And then I think she got me sick in a second wave. And then I think we got Johnny sick in a second wave. Usually I don't get very sick. I don't get too phased by being sick, but this one kind of like lasted forever. And I'm still sick. He's still got like gobs of mucus coming out of his nose. Might have to clean up these inks a little bit. There's line going through his hand here. There's these lines. In fact, I don't even think there's this thick line going through here, which I should probably erase first and foremost. you know, in a lot of stuff, I use, like when I go to scan these pages, I touch up a lot of stuff with these like jelly roll pens, these white pens, or I have like a, is it called Presto? It's a Pentel jumbo white pen. It's like a blue thing. You shake it. I used to use that. I got to get a new one because that ran out on me. But I used to touch everything up with that before I scan it. Let me go into these, the inks. So I try to touch up as much as I can before I scan it. And but you know, you still miss stuff. And there's sometimes I deliberately don't touch something up because I like that it looks like it was inked by hand. Like I noticed when I was doing this page, he has this kind of like scribble under his tie. And normally I would erase that. That's kind of stuff I erase a lot of times. But sometimes I'll like leave something because I think it looks kind of a little more handcrafted, which it is. I like leaving that kind of like fingerprint quality to it, to some capacity anyway. So sometimes I clean it up. Sometimes I'll like leave some details in there. Let me get the next color. Shirt. And his shirt is a baby light blue kind of thing too. But it's not the same as our protagonist Bonehead's. Bonehead, let's see, Bonehead. He is more of a robin egg blue. This guy's got just kind of like a light, just a general light blue. Also, he's a kind of a little devil character. They're not evil devils or satanic devils, by the way. I don't know what kind of devil isn't a satanic devil, but it's nothing like that. It's what I like drawing because the angular. I don't know. I really don't know why I draw the characters I draw. They just kind of fall out of me. And I kind of liked the idea of a world where everything's some kind of creepy thing. I just like creepy things. I grew up liking monsters and stuff. That's all. It's nothing sinister, if anyone's concerned about that. I've never heard anybody express concern about that, but I can sympathize with being worried about that. But anyway, so he's a devil character. But one of the main characters, Bonehead's buddy, in this, he's a devil character named Mort. And I voiced him in the cartoon that I made. Hey, Bonehead. So that's on YouTube somewhere. But my Bonehead pilot. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so he's a red devil character, but that red is different than this guy's red. His shirt is similar to Bonehead's, but it's a different blue. So all the characters kind of have their own specific color. What am I looking for? There we go. His pants. I'll do his pants. I talk to like have something to say on the video, but then I like lose track of what I'm doing. I'm just like going from like open window to open window, open window. Like, where am I going? What am I trying to do? Just kind of doing it blindly. Oh, dude, I should show you the page that I'm copying his colors from, because it's one of my favorite like joke pages. So this guy's like running and telling on. Oh, here's Mort right here. And they actually look like they're similar reds. Maybe they are. I thought they were different. They do look. I don't know. I can't tell. Maybe I used the same color on this page, but anyway, Mort's trying to like catch him because he's about to tell on him for being there after hours or something like that. So he's like running. He's like, "You're in for it now." He goes, "Gotcha!" He tackles him, and then Clud like tackles him to the ground, and he's like giving him a noogie, or that's what it kind of looks like there. And then he knocks him to the ground. He takes off his glasses, and then he throws him down the hallway. He goes, "Mr. Shivers!" And then Mr. Shivers is right there. He's like, "Ah, crud." Okay, so copy his hair. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold the phone. I say that all the time. You know what that's from? I go, "Hold the phone." It's from Shrek. It's weird how like little things like that can like get so like embedded in your skull that they just stay with you forever and you don't even think about it. Like, when did I hear that it got stuck in my head? That was probably like 2000 or something. Probably, yeah. What else? What color do I need? Oh, his hair. I'm gonna copy his hair again. There's a gradient on his hair. I grabbed a lower end of the gradient, but that's okay because I'm going to do all my gradients later. But I at least need a base color to grab from everything. And it can be any part, really. And then I just go lighter and take my gradient and I put the same color, this color, I'll put on like the high end and the low end, the one end and the other end. And then I make one a bit lighter. Like, I'll go into one and I'll make it a bit lighter, and I'll make the other end a bit darker, and then I'll just like select the hair and I'll drag it across and like add a gradient to his hair on every panel that it's there. You know, if you want to draw a book and color it, get used to the idea of having to go over each picture like 10 times, because that's the way it is. Maybe even more, because I you know, first of all, I thumbnail all the pages, then I pencil them. Like, I thumbnailed all the pages on like little note cards like this, 3x5 note cards, and then I scanned them in like 4 at a time, and then I would blow them up and print them out, and I kind of used them to, yeah, I used them to like plot out my full-size pages, the 11 by 17s, and what am I looking for now? Oh, I know. But then, you know, you ink it. So I pencil it, then I ink it. Now I'm coloring it, and you know, I'm going over. You know, I'm going from panel to panel. I'll color his face on each panel. Then I'll go back over each panel and color his hair, and then I'll go back over each panel and color his shirt. So it's like, get used to seeing each picture like a billion times. That's all I wanted. You know what? One last thing. I'm gonna fix his sneaker because I decided to kind of give him these sneakers, but I think on some pages he's wearing like black shoes. I don't know if I'm fixing it on every instance of him, but I will here. Make this a bit smaller. I'll fix this, then I'll color it, and then I'll end the stream. So you want the black. African American. No, I'm just kidding. So the sole of his shoe is this color. Oops, I'm still on the ink layer. I think that's a Tig Notaro bit. Somebody goes, oh, it's like a black minivan, and she'll go like, African American, or you know. I think I heard that on her Professor Blastoff podcast back in the day. I used to listen to that. Her and Kyle Dunnigan, and what was the other guy's name? David something. Yeah, David Schmidt. I don't remember. I have no clue. I think it started with an L actually. Lindberger. I have no effing clue. It's been so long since I listened to that podcast, but I really love that podcast. And David was all right, but Tig and Kyle Dunnigan were such a funny pair, and they would just go off the rails. They're like knowing them must be annoying as hell, because they sound like they're the kind of people that are just always on, you know, which can be fun, but surely gets old before too long. Okay, so that's this for now. I'm gonna call that a stream, so I gotta move on to other stuff for the day. But you know, I'll be back now that I'm back home. It'll be easier to get back on the path of streaming and doing more stuff. So if you like seeing me draw comics, if you like my sketchbook stuff that I post all the time, check out the links in the description of this video. There's a link tree that has um, my YouTube channel. There's an Ink the Book Show playlist. I'm pretty sure there's a maybe not an Ink the Book Show playlist, but there's a link to my YouTube that has all the archive of me inking the whole book, there is a link to a playlist with all my animations, including the Bonehead cartoon that I made a while back. And then there's like a link tree, or we call it a TeePublic link, where I put some drawings on shirts. And there is also my friend's jewelry site. She's a friend of the show, a fellow small business artist. She has a jewelry shop where she hand makes all this jewelry. She has a laser thing that like an industrial laser that she bought, and she cuts cool die cut shapes, and she hand makes jewelry herself in her own home. She's got a home studio, and she's got, in the description of this video, there should be a promo code INK10, and you get 10% off your orders at her site. If you feel so inclined to buy something from her, try that out. But that's all I got. I'll be back soon. If I'm not back tomorrow, happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. This has been Ink the Book Show. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye, everybody. I love you.